name's Alistair Jeffs, executive producer for Oil. We got into doing this form of interactive entertainment after playing too many video games and wondering why cutscenes are so useless. So we're about kind of storytelling. We really like to take our audience on journeys and get them involved in the story that we're creating. This is our audience, 25 and under audience is really what we focus on. Now those people, they use those platforms. Those are their media platforms throughout the day. They aren't just in their living rooms with the object on the right, but they're actually using phones throughout the day, PCs, consoles, TVs. So how can you take a story and stretch that story across those platforms? But we work with storytellers. We work with professional storytellers, as we call them, traditional storytellers, those that know how to tell stories best, know characters, know worlds, and really work with them on optimizing for the media platforms of today. This is kind of our circle of attention with storytelling in the center, as I just said, all of the platforms that we're focusing on, and then we're more than conscious of the need for brands to be involved in what we're doing. The other thing that I wanted to share with everyone here today is our learnings are 99% of your audience is not that involved in the media that you've produced, but you have 1% who are intensely involved in what you're doing, and that 1% actually drives the other 99%. Roots is up for a number of awards right now in the UK with BEMA and BAFTA, and it ran from January until March of this year. So it's all about genetics. It's an interactive thriller about genetics. Genetics is a big topic. It's a very important subject matter. Many say that between now and the year 2050, the issues that people are going to be dealing with are the economy, the environment, and genetics. How can we build a story for a particular audience, a 25 and under audience, that will engage them, will get them entertained? And I think the other thing to note with genetics is that it's actually out there in the consumer market. So 23andme.com is a website, and you can fill out a form, pay some money, get something sent in the mail, spit into it, send it back to them. They'll send you back a digital and paper version of your genetic profile. It was Time Magazine's Invention of the Year in 2008. So this is happening now. So our big media partner for this was Channel 4. Channel 4 is a kind of the HBO of the UK market. It's a terrestrial broadcaster. Always been kind of on the cutting edge, but realizing that their audiences are moving to these other platforms, moving to the edges. And how can a television broadcaster create stories and build relationships with their audience across these platforms? So we worked in conjunction with Channel 4 in developing this, and they took the root story to the Wellcome Trust. The Wellcome Trust is the second biggest charity in the world. The Wellcome Trust is very interested in promoting the health of humans and animals, and are really keen about their role in genetics, as they were very involved in early studies into DNA. They want to reach out to young people. They need more scientists, and they particularly wanted to reach out to 14 to 19-year-old girls. But with the Wellcome Trust's sponsorship of Roots, they did ask for the science to be accurate, which was a challenge, but it gives it a true kind of thorough brand experience. So that's all the background. I want to talk more about storytellers, because I think storytelling is the big thing for us. It's this thing that all of us are used to and appreciate. So these two guys, Rupert and Tom, are storytellers. They write for television and they write for print magazines. And they are holding the canon for Roots. It's the kind of the flow of the story of Roots. This is the kind of the Bible that we all worked from. And one of the Bibles was 84 pages long. The other one was over 200 pages long. So there's a lot of depth for consistency and thoroughness in terms of how we presented things to the audience. They were involved from the very beginning, and I think this is, for us, really what it's all about, is having writers involved in developing 360-degree formats from day one, as opposed to, here's a great idea, let's go make it interactive. These guys are writers who understand interactivity. We have to have that in mind when developing for that audience that I talked about earlier. The platforms we focused on mainly are the PC, some TV, and some mobile. This is a really interesting slide. It's kind of a parallel of what's happening at the same time. So it started in January, ran till March. we had a documentary running, games, some community involvement areas, and then you had this other piece, which was the mystery, which included live events, fake websites. But everything was happening in parallel, and I think that's another thing to realize when you're producing 360-degree transmedia, cross-platform, cross-media, I don't know what to call it today, formats. You got to have things happening in parallel that are complementing each other. So that's why the writers are involved in terms of things working in conjunction with each other and being consistent, because as soon as the audience realizes there's an inconsistency, they're gone. So this is Roots. This is the front page during the live production phase of the format. You had the documentary on the left. You had the games in the middle, including a reward element, which was winning a PlayStation 3. And on the right, you had the interactive murder mystery piece to it all. So this is the ad that ran on Channel 4.
Is there a gene for a fat butt? Or for bad breath? Or a gene that makes me funny? I'm Catherine Ryan. I'm 25. I've had 2 bouts of cancer and I have a rare genetic disorder. Over the next 8 weeks, I'm going to be testing my DNA and finding out how much defines who we are. Can our genes really make us criminals?
So you can still go to the site and play some of the games. And I'll show you some of the games right now. I think it's worthwhile, the games, because these are really the kind of interactive pieces that are worth seeing. So this is Breeder. Breeder is a widget that you picked up on rootsgame.com. You took it with you to your social media site, and we're all about taking things out to the edges, letting people take things with them to the places that they hang out at the most. So Breeder, you have a being that you're trying to create, and to do that you're breeding and you're recreating. So we produced everything that you see here. Everything I've shown you so far was all produced by Oil. You have this target that you're striving to reach, and these are all the people who have created breeder characters themselves, and you're trying to create that optimal target. So it's kind of cute and a nice piece to have on your Facebook page or something like that. So it was on Facebook, Bebo, and MySpace. You could take it with you in a very seamless manner, which I think is also important. Seamlessly bringing things across to other platforms. This was our most successful game, Sneeze, and I have a feeling you'll appreciate Sneeze, and I won't really describe it to you, but it fortunately had some nice timeliness to it in that it came out, in February, and by April, May, it was a hit. So the idea here is that you are spreading a virus, and you have one sneeze to do it, and you have a target that you're trying to hit. It's a flash-based game. So there's your target score at the top, and you get points on the right. And there you go, spreading it. So I've reached my target, so I'll get to the next level. But the points I attain get me to the leaderboard, which allows me to be eligible for, a PlayStation 3 to win. But this was nicely timed. DNA Hero was another one. It's like Guitar Hero for science geeks. It featured those that were involved in early DNA research, and you used the number pad to do genomes. Ginger Dawn, this is about a recessive gene. The redheaded gene is recessive. So you are a redhead and you are trying to get around and breed with as many people as possible to get the redheaded gene still out there. And you had to do it before you got too sunburned. So I can appreciate that one. And there's a lot of Scottish references too, which works well with my name. Anyway, so we had all those fun games going on. We had this interactive murder mystery going on too. So this girl Rachel and this guy Matt, they basically, Rachel's uncle was murdered in Peru at the live launch event for Roots at the end of January at Channel 4. And Rachel and Matt are on the quest to find out who murdered him, and they do it through lots of online research, going places, attending events, solving puzzles, and they have 2 blogs that they document everything on. They have a Facebook page, a Twitter page, so you can really kind of interact with them, and it was all fictional, obviously, and the story was really about, you know, all of the other organizations that were involved in it. So we had all these fake websites that we'd created and these organizations that we created. We even had a fake company like Prometha, and Prometha was had a phone number on it. People could call the number. The call would be answered by a receptionist, and these players would ask questions to help Matt and Rachel get to the bottom of their quest. We had fake websites for missing people with actors. We had a finale, and this is really where kind of the reality and the fiction came together. And the reality and fiction came together at a lab, and the stars, Rachel and Matt, went in to go and get to the bottom of the mystery. Meanwhile, the players, some players actually came to the event where it was, because it was actually a physical location in Cambridge, but other players remotely were able to help using their mobile phones to use a premium shortcode to open and close doors for them in the facility that they were in. So that was all online. We had a television and mobile, and we had the television element too. We were featured on Channel 4 at the end of February, and it was kind of an abridged version of the murder mystery piece with Rachel and Matt, and that did really well. We got featured in the New York Times for Sneeze in early May, all down to things happening in terms of viruses and flus and so forth, so that was a great accomplishment for us. The website exists today. You can check it out at rootsgame.com. Play the games, see the documentary and the murder mystery. The documentary actually was with a girl named Catherine Ryan, a stand-up comedian, and she's really funny, so check it out. In terms of what we hit, we got a number of brands involved: Welcome Trust, PlayStation, obviously Channel 4, and then we kind of hit a lot of different platforms, media platforms, and we also had a merchandise angle, and I think this is important. We have 15 other formats that we're developing right now beyond this interactive thrill that we've done, and merchandise and physical sales are really important for us from a revenue stream perspective. So merchandise, in terms of t-shirts and stickers, we gave those away this time, but obviously down the road we want to sell things in conjunction with the media property we develop. This is all the stuff we produced. So it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of content that was produced. And these are the figures in terms of what we've been able to accomplish from a numbers perspective. 23 million gameplays, which is great. 250,000 video views, which contrasts quite greatly with the gameplays. 600,000 uniques. We had double the audience that normally you would get at that primetime spot on TV for the Roots television piece, and we hit 40% of the target audience that we were hoping to achieve in terms of 14 to 19-year-olds. So we're really proud of what we were able to accomplish here with Roots, and we're busy working on other formats right now here in LA and London. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. I'll ask a couple questions.
If you had any questions, please.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So one of the things that was very interesting about the statistics is the fact that the actual video views, while 250,000 is not insubstantial, it paled in comparison to the gameplays, and I think you were a little surprised by that. Is that true?
Well, there's two ways to look at it. Either people aren't watching video as much as people claim, or the video wasn't that good. So we don't really know.
The video was great, though, but I think it tells a story about being where people want to go.
Well, I think it's down to the platform. I think it's down to the computer, and the computer has this two-way capability, this keypad that you can use and this mouse that you can use, and you can get something out of it. So people like to play games. Games and stories are fundamental things that all of us have burnt into our DNA, if I can say that. So, you know, it's just kind of fundamental, and I think people just like to watch stuff on TV, just like the video views on the TV were so successful compared to what Channel 4's used to at that time period. No, I mean, this is original work, where all our formats are original formats. Is original story. I mean, yes, there are reference points, and I don't know how many out here are familiar with the ARG world, but there are reference points for ARGs that are done, and you know, Da Vinci Code did something, Minority Report have done things, Lost has done things, Jesse Alexander, who was here last year from Heroes, has done stuff, and hopefully is going to do stuff for Day One next year. You know, there's lots of reference points for us to work from, and I think what we learned mainly about the you know, having the murder mystery and the multi-platform ARG kind of thing was making it really accessible. Don't try and geek out people, because even that 1%, you know, you gotta make it something that's a little bit more easy to digest and get into, easy rabbit holes. I think everyone's talking about sponsorship, and you know, yes, we got a sponsor of the Wellcome Trust, and yes, Channel 4 was involved in helping us distribute and commission some of it, but you know, we really want to sell stuff. We want to sell tickets, like you said, or merchandise, or items that are peripheral to the media property. Even, you know, DVDs of what's been produced. So it's not kind of, I don't want to rely too much on the sponsorship model, because I don't think that the media buying agencies are mature enough to deal with this just yet. I think some of them are grasping it right now, but it's still early days. So, you know, we want to have a variety of revenue streams simultaneously from day one. Very much so. They were very pleased with the you know, we're hitting the 40% of the 14 to 19-year-old audience, the exposure we got them on television, the publicity that we got, obviously, at the awards that we're getting now. There's discussions with them right now about doing Roots 2. We started on day one. We started this thing at the launch party for the Roots game. The Roots game launched on a Monday, and then on Thursday we had a launch event, and that's when the murder mystery began. That's when Rachel discovered that her uncle had been murdered, and that was a live event. And we ran that all the way through until the end of March. So it was constantly going on, and we were publishing new content in regards to Rachel and Matt's adventures 3 times a week.